He is a 17th century poet. He was born in 1621 and died in 1678. And the important book of poetry called Miscellaneous Poems was published 3 years after his death. I took this summary from the Norton Anthology of English Literature. Andrew Marvell's voice was not heard in his time. Right? He was a very quiet man, and he attended and graduated from Cambridge with A.B. Master of Arts, bachelor's degree or things like that, in 1638, and remained in residence at Cambridge for 2 years. I don't know what it means. Maybe he taught, he served as tutor, I don't know. And Marvell serves as tutor in 1650 to Sir Thomas Fairfax's daughter. And while he was staying here, he seemed to have written most of his non-satiric English poems for 3 years. In 1657, Marvell was appointed assistant to John Milton. Do you know who John Milton is? Yeah, greatest English poet. And his poetry, Paradise Lost, is a great poem. And Marvell seems to have helped to save Milton from an extended jail term and possible execution. John Milton went blind when he wrote Paradise Lost. Amazing, right? He was blind when he was writing Paradise Lost. And he dictated his poems. And also what is surprising is Milton read poetry every morning. Also what is surprising is he did poems in Latin and Italian. And scholars thought that they were written after he had gone to Italy. But that was not true. Before he went to Italy, he had written the poems. So, John Milton. And he was, Marvell was assistant to John Milton. Marvell seemed to have helped to save Milton from an extended jail term and possible execution. In 1678, he was elected MP, Member of Parliament, Assemblyman, for his hometown, Hull. His serious verse was published in 1681, 3 years after his death. His poetry is the diction. Right? His poetry is playful, casual, witty in tone, always light on his metrical feet, and exact in his diction. So when you read the poems, you'll see the diction, the language is very exact. Its combination, the poetry's combination of a light touch, a vein of mockery, and the shadow of a dark thought is perfectly Marvellian. Marvell's characteristics. They are Marvell's characteristics. So we'll have a look at the poem, right? To his coy mistress. To his coy mistress. Coy, shy, mistress. Had we but whirled enough in time, this coyness, lady, were no crime. The beginning is very powerful, very strong, right? It is crime, right? Right? Had we but whirled enough. There's an inversion here. If we had enough whirled, if we had enough time, this coyness wouldn't be a crime. But it is crime, right? Right? A lady addressing this woman, this coyness, lady, were no crime. We would sit. What does it mean? Subjunctive mood. If you were right, if we had enough time, but we do not have time, right? So we would sit we would sit down. What does it mean? We cannot sit down right now. Right? Right? Let's get together and make love right now, right? That is what he's saying, right? So we would sit down and think. We would sit down and we'd think which way to walk, which way to walk, which way to go. And pass our long love days. We would pass our long love day. Thou, you, by the Indian Ganges side. So what? They are sitting by the riverside, the Ganges riverside, right? Thou, by the Indian Ganges side, should rubies find. Should find ruby. Well, we should find rubies, right? By the Ganges side. But what does it mean? We don't have time. We don't have time to find rubies by the side of the Ganges, right? Should rubies find? I, by the tide of Humber is the river in Hull River, one of the rivers. By the tide of Humber, I would complain, right? But no time. There's a footnote here, right? One footnote. Okay, footnote. One. Compared to the gorgeous Oriental Ganges, the Humber, which flows past Marvel's hometown of Hull, in a muddy estuary, where one is more likely to encounter herring boats, fishing boats, and coal sculls. Sculls is a flat-bottom boat in which you carry sand, gravels, and things like that. Coal sculls, then rubies, right? Where one is likely to encounter herring boats and coals rather than rubies. Complain implies deeds of plaintive, unavailing love. Okay. Footnote 1. Back to. I, by the tide of Humber, would complain. I would love you 10 years before the flood. Wonderful. I would love you 10 years before the flood. Flood is capitalized F. What does it mean? What kind of flood is it? Noah's flood. Right? Written in the Genesis, right? But flood. Did you see the movie Noah? Wonderful. I asked you to go see a movie, and some of you wrote about it, right? So the F, right, means the Noah's flood. No. Love you 10 years before the flood. You should, if you please, you should refuse till the conversion of the Jews. Conversion of Jews. At the last moment, the last judgment, until the last judgment, right? Footnote 2. According to popular chronology, the Jews were to be converted just before the last judgment. Okay, next. My vegetable love should grow. Wonderful. Love is compared to vegetable. The love. Can you think of this? Right? Vegetable love. Right? A vegetable love that is growing in what? In tropical areas. Right? It must grow very fast. Right? So my vegetable love should grow faster than empires and more slow. So the verb is what? Should grow. Subjunctive mode, right? We don't have time. Vegetable, okay. So the vegetable love should grow faster than empires and more slow. Semicolon. On 100 years, here H sound is silent in its time. That's why on. But present day, 100 years, right? On 100 years, so it's very strange. On 100 years, okay, 100 years should go to praise thine eyes. We need 100 years to praise your eyes, thine eyes. And on thy forehead gate. There's an inversion here, right? 100 years should go to praise your eyes and to gaze on thy forehead. Gaze on. To gaze on. Gaze on something, right? Gaze on thy forehead. On thy forehead gaze, semicolon. 200 years, 200 means what? 200 years. 200 to adore each breast. How many years do you need to adore two breasts? 4, right? 400. If you get this kind of poem, would you be fall in love with your partner, your friend? Right? Or maybe if you do it, don't do it. If you do it, what? You liar. You liar. No, exaggeration. Right? 200 to adore each breast, but 30,000 to the rest. To the rest. To the rest. Semicolon. An age at least to every part. An age at least to every part. And the last age should show your heart. 4, because, lady, you deserve this state. This state. This state? Footnote 3. 3. Dignity. This state. Dignity. Okay? Okay. State. Nor would I love at lower rate. Nor would I wouldn't love at lower rate. Right? But at my back, I always hear time's winged chariot hurrying near. At my back, I always hear time's winged, wing, 2 syllable, winged, right? Pronounced, right? Winged chariot hurrying near. Yonder, all beyond us lie, all beyond us, yonder lie what? Here, deserts of vast eternity. That's the vast. I see. I hear some echo here in Yeats's poetry, here and there, right? So Yeats must be inferred. The deserts of vast eternity. Thy beauty shall no more be found. Thy beauty shall be found no more. No more shall no more be found. Nor in thy marble vault room, right? Nor shall sound my echoing song. Then, semicolon, then, worms will try that long preserved virginity. Worms will try the long preserved virginity. So, it's what? So, and your quaint honor turn to dust, shall. Omitted, right? Your quaint honor shall turn to dust, and all my lust shall turn into ashes. Very, very exact, right? And the graves, and look at this. What kind of punctuation is it? Colon, not semicolon, colon, right? Colon. Into ashes all my lust. The grave's fine and private place. The grave is a fine and private place, but none think they embrace. Do their embrace. None embraced. Do they embrace? Embrace something, right? Intransitive verb. Now, therefore, while the youthful hue sits on thy skin like morning dew, beautiful. What does it mean? You can see a complexion, a beautiful lady with a pink cheek, or youthful hue sits on thy skin like morning dew. Sits on thy skin like morning dew, while thy willing soul transpires at every pore with instant fires, right? When you get excited, what happens? You blush and you transpire, you shed, right? Right. While thy willing soul transpires at every pore with instant fires. Or footnote 5. Or footnote 4, morning dew. The text reads GLEW, do instead of do, like this. A sticky point for interpreters and textual critics alike. Very, very difficult point. The emendation, do, is very common. So instead of glue, do is used, right? In an extended study of Marvel and Alchemy is a book published in 1990. Lindy Abram offers an ingenious and erudite reading that aims to reinstate glue as a defensible, intricate locution. So if you want to know more about glue, you can go to this book, right? Okay, footnote 5. Okay, footnote 5, maybe down here, footnote 5. Footnote 5. Immediate present enthusiasm transpires, breathe forth, okay? Back to, next. Now, let us sport us while we may. Seize the day, right? Seize the day, right? Let us sport us while we may. Sport is the verb. Sport is these days what? Wear or something, or play, or so we say enjoy yourself, right? Sport yourself, right? Let us sport us while we may. And now, like amorous birds of prey, this image appears in Shakespeare's poetry also, right? Like an amorous birds of prey, you can imagine a couple making love, right? Like amorous birds of prey, right? Rather at once our time devour. Our time at once our time devour our time. Now the verb is what? Let us devour, right? Let us devour our time. Wonderful. Let us devour our time. It's an abstract. Lovemaking is the abstract. You can't see, and through this phrase, you can visualize. You can devour time. Can you devour time? I can, but Marvel can do it, right? So, at once, let us at once devour our time. Rather than languish in its low-chapped power. Low-chapped, footnote, slow-jawed. Time is envisaged as slowly chewing up the world and its people. So, slow-chapped. Slow-chapped power. This image is quite interesting. This one. Let us roll our all strength and all our sweetness up into one bowl. This image, exactly an image like this, shows up in T.S. Eliot's poems. Right? So both Yeats and Eliot take something from this poem, right? So let us roll our strength and all our sweetness up into one bowl. So this is very sensual image, right? Sensual image, manhood, right? Into one bowl and tear our pleasures with rough strife through the iron gates of life. Very powerful. The punctuation semicolon. Thus, let me see. Thus, though we cannot make our sun stand still, can you make your sun stand still? You can. Then what? Yet we will make him run. We will make him run. The sun runs. What does it mean? We make love, right? Fast, right? So, what do you think of this poem? Okay, footnote 7. Let me see. In the final lines, lover and mistress triumphantly reverse the field, eating time avidly instead of being eaten by, right? And forcing the sun to race them instead of impelling it to stand still. Right. So wonderful poem, is it? Is it? It's a wonderful poem, right? Can you write this kind of poem? It's one of the best poems in English literature. So, and other great contemporary modern poets, modernist poets, took something out of it, right? Yeats took at least 2 images from it, and Eliot took one image, very important image, and used it in his poem. Great, right? John Donne. Okay. Okay. You like it? The definition of love, right? You learn something from Marvel. Huh? What is it? Definition of love. Do you know what love is? My love is overburst as rare as tease, strange, an object. Right? My love is overburst as rare as it is for object, strange and high. My love is very unique, right? Very rare, as well as strange and high. So, for object, semicolon, right? Semicolon. It, love, my love. It was begotten by despair, upon impossibility. Wonderful. It was begotten by despair upon impossibility. Very difficult definition, right? Magnanimous despair alone could show me so divine a thing. Magnanimous despair alone could show me a divine thing, where feeble hope could never have flown. But vainly flapped this tinsel wing, and yet I quickly might arrive where my extended soul is fixed. My extended soul is fixed. What does it mean? My extended soul. Footnote 1. Marvel thinks of his soul as having gone out of his body, extended, and attached, fixed itself to his mistress. So his soul flies, get out of the body and attach itself to the woman, his love, right? Okay, but vainly flap this tinsel wing, yet I quickly might arrive where my extended soul is fixed. But fate does iron wasted drive. Okay, it's emphasis, right? Fate does drive is iron wages, right? Drive, iron wages. And always crowds itself betwixt, between, right? Crowds itself betwixt. This is adverb. For fate, the verb is does see, the object is the 2 perfect loves, right? For fate does see 2 perfect loves. What kind of eye? With what kind of eye? With jealous eye, right? Fate does see 2 perfect loves with jealous eyes. Nor let them close. Close? Okay, close. Okay, footnote 2. Unite, close, right? So 2 loves unite, right? 2. The union would be her ruin. Union, you understand? Virginity, right? Lost, right? The union would be her ruin, and the tyrannic power deposed. Tyrannic means tyrannical. The tyrannical power deposed. Deposed means okay. Fate and its agent. Fate, time and change. None of them would have any power against the perfect mixture of the elements. If 2 things are mixed perfectly right? What? Two elements are mixed perfectly. What happens? Perfect love. Right? Any power would have any power against the perfect mixture of the elements. Perfect mixture of elements. Depose, and therefore, her decrees of steel, us as the distant poles have placed. There's an inversion here. Therefore, her decrees of steel, her order of steel, decrees of steel, have placed us as the distant poles. Okay. Though love's whole world doth will on us, right? Will, right? At the time, they use the verb will very often. Will, right? Will, verb, right? Will, not by themselves to be embraced, not to be embraced by themselves, unless the giddy heaven fall, and unless earth tear some new convulsion. What does it mean? Tremor, earthquake, and us to join. The world should be cramped into a planisphere, plasphere. Us to join us, right? And to join us, the world should all be cramped into a planisphere. Okay, footnote 4. Footnote 4. A flat sphere, literally absurd, but describing a kind of cartographic projection in which the world was represented in two dimensions and the poles are united. So at the time, it's the old notion of the Earth or planet, right? So, okay. Planisphere, okay, next. As lines, actually this is what? This image you did see in what? John Donne's poems, the compass, the metal compass and things like that, right? Or as lines, so loves may well, okay, the verb is great, right? May well greet themselves in every angle, right? So loves obliquely may well greet themselves in every angle. But ours, so truly parallel. Ours are truly parallel. Through infinite can never meet. How sad, right? How sad. Therefore, the love which us doth bind, inversion here, doth bind us, right? Therefore, the love which doth bind us, but fate so enviously debarred, is the conjunction of the mind. Fate is the conjunction of the mind, and the other thing. Fate is the opposition of the stars. Footnote 6. Conjunction and opposition are technical terms for astrology. Here, yoked to marvelous definition. Okay, so therefore, the love does bind us, but fate so enviously debars. Fate, okay. The love which does bind us, the love that fate so enviously debars, it prevents, the love, fate so enviously debars, is what kind of love? Love is the conjunction, this kind of love is conjunction of mind and the opposition of the stars, right? So he's talking about the philosophy at the time, love at the time, right? Okay, it's an interesting poem, right? By reading a poem, you can see the thoughts of at the time, what they thought, right? Their conception of love, things like that. So very, very exact diction, right? Okay.